Humans on the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got huge insect reveals. This is crazy. I mean, we saw the new insect tuner card. It's a cool extender, but there's not a lot of synchro stuff that the insect deck was doing at the moment, or that a lot of insects end up doing. But it seems here that we're actually following up with multiple other insect cards. I don't know if this guy's an insect, but we have a new C card, it looks like. Very cool. As well as WEEVIL Underwood's Third Strike. Just a new WEEVIL Underwood volley of cards. Hopefully they end up being good. This one says Konami going all out to get you to play B Trooper. Hopefully that means it's a good C card that's now searchable. Let's get into this thing. So we'll start off with WEEVIL's cards here. Okay. Starting off here, we have Bio Insect Armor. It's a level 5 Earth Insect, 1500 attack, 2000 defense. You can only use the first effect once per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard and you do not control Bio Insect Armor, target an insect monster you control, equip this card to it, but banish this card and that equipped monster when they leave the field. A monster equipped with this card gains this card's stats 1500, 2000 during the battle phase and main phase 2 only. That's fine. I mean, a 1500 boost is really big to a lot of things. A lot of mediocre stuff is going to crack 2 or 3000 with that boost, but it is just a battle phase boost. Outside of that, it's not really an extender. If it had some bonus effect that said if this card's equipped to a monster, you can special summon this monster as just summon it as from the equip area. Then it'd be cool because then it'd also just be a decent extender that kind of extends from hand or grave. But unfortunately, just a battle phase card. I don't think this will really see too much play, but it's cool for a WEEVIL kind of anime style deck. All right, moving on from here, we have Giant Ant Lion. This is a level 3 Earth Insect monster, so this actually might fit some qualifications. Level 3 Earth Insect, 1200 attack, 1500 defense. I believe this is searchable off of... Does it have to be exactly level 4 for Retaliating Sea? Not sure, but cool. Could have synergy there. 12-15, 2 hard ones per turn effects. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from the hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can equip it with one insect monster from your hand or graveyard as an equip spell that gives it 500 attack and defense. And once per turn at the start of the damage step, if an insect monster battles, including itself, target a card you control and one card your opponent controls and destroy them. Again, this one's just okay. Definitely more anime style than having legit application for an insect deck. Overall, to trigger, it requires your opponent to do stuff. Not only does it need your opponent to do stuff, but it's not even a basic thing. It's battle phase stuff. So they're going to set up a lot of what they want prior to even giving you an opportunity to fire this. So just mediocre to me. And realistically, what application? Well, there's probably some weird ones like equipping Resonance Insect or Goki Pole or something. But for the most part, the idea here seems to be grab Bio Insect Armor. Bio Insect Armor will give him a 1500 boost to 27, but he's also getting his own 500 boost, putting him at 32, which is pretty big. We'll take that, but definitely more anime style than legit good. And then we get to a new fusion boss monster. This is Perfect Great Insect, a level 9 Earth Insect Fusion effect monster, 3000 attack, 2600 defense. Its materials are level 8 insect and a level 7 insect. So pretty specific in the levels you need, but it is in the extra deck, so it's not a huge deal. Must first either be fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck by tributing an insect monster with 2000 or more defense while equipped with an equip card. Now that is a little bit more interesting, to be honest, that this card could just be contact fused out by any insect with 2000 more defense with an equip spell currently on it. So maybe that does give a little more value to the new equip guy there. But let's see what he does. You can only special summon it once per turn. That makes sense. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Okay, whatever. It's already 3000. That's mediocre for sure. And the second effect, once per battle phase, if there is a face-up card in the field zone, quick effect, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Now that is a pretty powerful effect, just wiping every monster off your opponent's field. But to be fair, it's only activating during the battle phase. There does have to be a field spell, live. at that point. So yeah, this card is just okay. I mean, it is still really easy to summon Big Beater just by putting up a big booty insect with an equip on it, but I'm not sure if the payoff's quite worth it at the end of the day, but interesting. And the last one is Giant Ball Shoot, a continuous spell. So I'm assuming this is following up on Giant Ballpark, which is cool. You can only use one of its 2 effects once per turn, but not both. When this card is activated, you can target a level 6 or lower insect monster in your graveyard. If you do special summon it, okay, that's just Monster Reborn for most insect monsters. That seems really crazy, especially for cards like Resonance, which you want to use multiple times, but sometimes you're not able to get it back on field. But this just said, like, summon it, use it, summon it back, use it again, and you're getting like hella insect searches for big insects, which is pretty cool. Okay, second effect. You can reveal 1 insect monster in your hand. Then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and 1 insect monster you control with lower attack than the revealed monster. Switch control of both, and if you do, the monster you took control of becomes an insect monster. Wow, okay. That's pretty interesting as well. Cool. I mean, it's a swap card, so you're not just stealing. But, we're playing an... I mean, what if I revived the Resonance? Revealed anything bigger than Resonance? Because you just reveal the monster, right? You don't even have to get rid of the card. So you don't even lose the card in hand. You take your opponent's monster. They get Resonance. When you kill Resonance on their field, you're still getting a search for it. There definitely could be some nice little niche applications on that second effect. But the first effect's still not bad. I think this is like the first really good card here. This could be a power creep to some of the extenders in the insect deck. Pretty cool. All right. Let's keep it moving here. Next up, we have a new C card. This is Hiding Sea. Keep in mind the C's are usually just hand traps, but we'll see how this works. This is a level 7 Earth Insect Effect monster. 13 air attack, 2500 defense. Pretty big. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. When your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand in face down defense position. And if you do, change it to face up defense position during the end phase of this turn. Okay. And the second effect, if this card is flipped face up during the end phase, so only during the end phase, which is weird, destroy all special summoned monsters on the field. Interesting. Okay. So this is like a weird hand trap. I think the basic problem I have with this card out the gate is you're gonna set this on your opponent's turn, and then your opponent's going to do their whole play, even if they don't have removal for this card, which a lot of decks do just because of stuff like Nightmare Unicorn, on their way to making an Appaloosa, or Nightmare Griffin right now in tier, stuff like that. Like making like a Unicorn or whatever, just generic removal card is not that hard. But secondly, this card's flipping in the end phase, so it's probably after your opponent has everything set up. Most modern decks have access to negates, so they're just going to have negates on field by the time this card is flipping. I think it's okay. I think it's just okay at best. Maybe there'll be specific matchups where you're like, this deck doesn't have a fucking negation as part of its end board. So I'm just going to set this and I'm going to wipe his board on end phase. In that instance, it could be cool. I don't know. It is still an extender. You know, it summons itself and it flips face up. You'll have a big level 7 body going into your next turn. Just fine. Just not as good. You know, I kind of wish this was just like more specifically tailored to insects, but like an actual better hand trap effect that, you know, benefits insects more. But it is what it is. It's fine. I don't think it's crazy though. And the final card we have here, I believe, unless there's anything else to be revealed, it looks like that's it for at least right now. If anything else comes out, I'll definitely give you guys an update later on today. But this is Tree Crown Armor B-Gram. Okay. This is a level 9 Earth Insect monster. 34-28. Huge. Absolutely huge stats. He cannot be normal summoned or set, obviously. He must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 insects and or plant monsters from your hand or graveyard. Okay, that's a pretty hefty cost, or not even necessarily a hefty cost once you're set up. It's more so hefty setup in general, like, you know, easier said than done to get 3 insects or plants engraved. But also with link monsters and modern day extension and stuff, that's not the hardest thing. It just means you do need to be resolving your effects. Okay, you can only special summon in once per turn. First effect, your opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to the activation of your spell and trap cards and effects. Okay, that's okay. Although most of the insect deck's interruptions tend to just be monster interruptions, whether it's Sting Lancer or the level 2, the Battle Wasp level 2, Sting the Poison, right? Stuff like that. I guess there's Flying Sting, but Flying Sting's already a counter trap, so your opponent's not responding to that in most situations anyway. I do like that this is definitely any spell or trap. That's definitely still nice, but not amazing. And the second effect says, once per turn, you can destroy all face-up monsters on the field, except for insects and plants. Also, this card cannot attack directly this turn. That's pretty good. It'd be once per turn, essentially a board right. Excuse me. For your opponent, assuming they're not playing, you know, specifically like Sun Avalon or Rika or this deck exactly, you're going to get to wipe the board, which is pretty decent. I don't think this card's amazing. I think it's okay. I think where it is nice is that, like, we already play Doomdozer, which is like pretty much this card but smaller. Doesn't have any legit good effects on field. So this card's bigger. It has 2 they're legit effects. They're just not, you know, neither of them are interruption. One's a decent removal effect, but it's okay. And it's slow. And the only real difference is that this guy has to banish 3 insects from grave instead of just 2. So the question is, how much does that 3rd insect name matter in the graveyard? How hard is it going to be? Are you going to just lose duels because you play this card instead of Doomdozer, and you had scenarios where I could get 2 insects in grave and that would have given me the extension I needed to play, but I didn't. I wasn't able to get it in. So that's definitely something I would wonder about. But as long as, you know, as long as the extra insect name to banish is negligible, at least, we should be okay with this card. I think it's potentially an upgrade over Doomdozer. It'll probably be a debate depending on like how the deck's going to see play, but pretty cool, all things considered. So yeah, that's what we have here. Just like the 6 new cards here. All in all, kind of disappointed. This is, again, another insect wave that like could have been better. The only cards I really like as far as like actually supporting like the good competitive insect deck is this card. Seems to be a really good extender with like also monster removal utility. This card seems mediocre. It's way too slow as a hand trap. And then this guy could see play over Doomdozer. I doubt you'd want to play both because you're just asking for bricks, but you know, it could be a debate to see which one is more worth. This one's higher ceiling, that one's a little more reliable. Got to meet in the middle at some point. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm still happy we're getting insect support, period. There's still only 6 more cards for Photon Hypernova, so we should still have over 20 cards left to be revealed. Obviously, I'll keep you guys up to date on that. Oh, hold on, we got a new card here. Oh, we have a new insect or Abyss Actor wave support. Okay, here we go. Sorry. I didn't know if they were right in the middle of like doing the translations, but here we go. This is Abyss Actor Liberty Dramatist. It's a level 4 Dark Fiend Pendulum effect monster. 15/15 for the stats. Pendulum scale is 8, so high scale. Pendulum effect is a once per turn. When a monster declares an attack, you can discard a card to special summon this card to your opponent's field. Okay, when any monster declares an attack, discard a card, summon this to them. Okay, you can only use the first and second effects hard once per turn. If this card is special summoned from the Pendulum Zone, this card's owner reveals 3 Abyss script spells from their deck. Their opponent randomly picks one of them for this card's owner to set to their field, but is destroyed during the end phase. Also, the rest are shuffled back into the deck. But this is really strong because this not only gives it to your opponent, so this does count as their effect on the field, and it's mandatory. But but it's giving them an Abyss script and then destroying it. And most of the Abyss scripts give you a pretty powerful effect if they're destroyed by your opponent, which is really good. So it kind of forces, it's almost like Ceruli in Dark Worlds, like forcing your opponent to activate an effect that discards, so you get the bonus effects of your Dark Worlds. Same thing here. There. And next, if this card is destroyed, you can shuffle an Abyss script spell in your graveyard into the deck. Cool, just a little bit of recursion. Fine. This is a fine card. It's a fun card to like kind of take advantage of the mechanic. This is Abyss Actor Super Producer, a new link 2. That's nice. They had a link 1, so maybe they can link climb here. 1600 attack, bottom left, bottom right, good arrows. 2 monsters, including a fiend, very generic. And you can only use the main phase effect discard once per turn. During the main phase, you can target one face-up card you control, destroy it, then you can apply one of these effects. Place one Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Theater from your deck in your Pendulum Zone, or place an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone. Now that is pretty legit. That could make Abyss Actors a lot more splashable with like other Pendulum archetypes, because this card's very generic, just takes any fiend as one of the materials on any other monster, pop a card which could trigger something, and then place another Pendulum's scale. So obviously in Pendulums, like swapping stuff out is really good, especially if one's going to the extra. That's pretty good. I think this card looks really nice. This card's really good for them, I think. I'm not going crazy. Normal spell card. This is Abyss Actor's Dress Rehearsal. It's a normal spell. At the start of your main phase 1, add an Abyss Actor card and an Abyss script spell from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot Pendulum summon monsters for the rest of the turn after this card is resolved, except Abyss Actor monsters. I think I'm totally okay with that. It's not a hard once per turn, but it can only be activated at the beginning of main phase 1, so realistically you can only activate 1 per turn. But that's insane. Search an Abyss script and an Abyss Actor. That's a pretty powerful card in a pure variant. That's really nice. I like cards like this that like kind of push you towards playing a pure variant, but because it's like such a big power card in that variant. I'm assuming this will be a 1 card, I don't know about combo, but like, you know, setup, which is cool. Awesome. And the last card here, excuse me, is Abyss Script Dramatic Story normal spell card. Again, you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Target an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control. Special summon an Abyss Actor Pendulum monster with a different name from your deck. Then either place that target in your Pendulum Zone or destroy it. And secondly, if this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra, you can return up to 2 cards on the field to the hand. Very cool. I think this is also a really good card because I believe the deck already has access to, I think Wild Hope is his name, and he's like, if he's destroyed, I think he just searches an Abyss Actor monster. So already there, this is just like summon Wild Hope, pop Wild Hope, or summon something, place it. It's just a 1 card, place it in the scale. And then Wild Hope would search you something else and get a name into extra. And plus, this is a pretty nice effect for the pop effect. So this would be one of the Abyss scripts you would be able to set up with this card when you give it to your opponent, and then they would pop it, and you would immediately be able to like target 2 cards on your opponent's field and return them to hand. That's pretty dang good removal for sure. And if we can do that we can't do this on the opponent's turn, right? Actually, we can. This just kind of deters our opponent from ever attacking. And if they want to attack, we can punish them by summoning this, popping something like this card, Dramatic Story, and then bouncing 2 cards from their deck, from their field back to their hand. Pretty good. I gotta say, all in all, this seems like good Abyss Actor support. This card's a little more gimmicky. I'm not gonna lie, because he relies on your opponent. But to be fair, actually, he can summon himself when any monster declares an attack. So even if you declare an attack, you get to summon this card. And that could just pretty much get you a bounce too, right? So it's a little bit slower, but it could still be a good utility card. Still, it is a little gimmicky, but I will take it. I think because of how the mechanic works, it does raise the ceiling of what the deck can do. I like the Link 2 a lot. This card can almost give this deck maybe some even generic splash ability with other Pendulum archetypes, more so than they've ever had. This effect is insane. It's obviously built for more pure decks, but it's really powerful. And then, of course, we have the Dramatic Story, also pretty good starter extender kind of card that has a good effect on resolution. So pretty cool. Let's check one more time before we go here. Yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. I'd love to give you more here. I'll keep an eye on it. If we get more reveals, I will give you an update later on today on and do a video on those, reviewing those cards. But all in all, some mediocre insect support, but some really cool Abyss Actor support. That's honestly pretty strong. I'm very curious to see what they can do after this support. But I will see you in the next one, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the new cards here. Subscribe if you have not yet and you want to stay tuned for the rest of the reveals for Darkwing Blast, Photon Hypernova stuff. I'm expecting Trap Trick stuff soon. Very exciting time in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll see you in the next one. Peace.